For the players that were available, what are your thoughts on what they provided or did not provide tonight?
Again, still figuring it out. And I think that's going to be, a theme for us as we continue to learn and continue to get better. What we do against different teams, different systems. This team in particular is a good defensive team. And although they are undersized, Draymond Green is one of the best team defenders in our league. So he does a great job of swarming the ball. And we have to learn the reads to make in those situations and be willing to make the right read over and over again. But, right now with what we have a lot of young guys that we've got to teach and help improve.
Coach, yes, you've faced some really good teams on the trip. As far as defense on the trip as well, what would you say needs to be better looking at what your team can do, even against tougher teams and what you've seen them do against tougher teams at the beginning of the season?
I think we have to be a more physical basketball team. Right now, obviously, we're playing a lot of small guys, but that doesn't exclude us from being more physical. How we defeat screens, how we get attached and dictate where the ball is going instead of allowing the ball to go where the offense wants it to go. I think that's something that we can do right away, and we'll see vast improvement. And, again, I think we could do a much better job of protecting the paint. Our defense has gotten really spread out and not being in our help spots to protect the paint and protect one another, is an area where we can get better quickly as well.
Kelsey.
Kelsey Russo of The Athletic. JB, what have you noticed? We talked about it last night a little bit, but from the second quarter and then going into the third quarter, the struggles that you're seeing in there, and what did you especially see tonight in that stretch?
I think, the good teams that we play understand the importance of the third quarter. Coming out of the break is a time where, playoff teams, championship caliber teams understand it's an opportunity to put their foot on the gas. And I think we are figuring out how to match that. I think they get more assertive. They put us on our heels more often. They turn it up defensively. So again, we're learning, and it's bumpy. It's tough, to be honest. But we are learning, and these are things that we have to figure out.
And then a more overarching question, when you get a chance to look back over this road stretch and just in general, what is your biggest takeaway that you want to implement moving forward, just whenever you can?
Yeah, defensively, we have to get better. We've taken a big step backwards in the defensive area. And I think we have to, focus there, and we have to get better on the defensive end of the floor.
Thanks.
Marla
Ridenhour, Akron Beacon Journal. As far as the 3-point shooting, wasn't very good on this trip overall. Are you guys rushing, or can you put your finger on anything in that regard?
No, again, I felt like we created some good ones for each other. And we just got to knock them down. Our guys spent a ton of time working on it. But in this league, if you get open threes and you want to be competitive, you got to make them, and you got to shoot them with confidence. You got to shoot them with belief. But we got to be better. We got to make those shots.
And can you think of a positive that stands out at this moment, or are you going to have to dig for that?
No, again, I think the group stuck together through some very difficult times. It's not easy. The schedule has not been kind to us by any means. The outcomes have not been kind to us by any means, but I didn't see the guys quit, and I didn't see them fracture. So that's a big step, and that's a positive for us.
Thank you.
Thank you.
To take it onto themselves and make something happen on their own rather than just stick with what's the game plan?
The game now after, actions is about, drive and kick and being able to beat your man. And we have guys that do that. Where we have to improve is reading the secondary defender from there. So when we break the paint, we have to figure out and do a better job of more consistently reading the defense and finding the next open man. But, again, those are things that we'll continue to work on and we need to improve on for sure.
And just considering with Colin, how well he was making his reads and how in flow of the game he was just a couple of weeks ago, do you feel like he's had a little bit of tunnel vision and he's kind of just trying to do his own thing?
No, not at all. I thought there was games on this trip. I think about Portland in particular where they were trapping him and he was getting off the ball, making the right reads. So I think, again, he's trying to make the right reads. I think what we're being challenged is by good teams. Who make you have to make tough decisions over and over again. And, we just have to continue, like I said, to work on it, continue to teach, and we'll get better at it.
And then I just wanted to also ask you, too, about the end of the half where Jarrett and him were having that conversation. Did you have anything to add to what went on there?
No, they just had a conversation, and I'm fine with it. A situation occurred on the floor, and they needed to resolve it. We resolved it, came back in the locker room, they got together, and it was over with.
Chris Fedor, Cleveland.com. JB, before you guys left for this trip, you and a lot of the players talked about learning a lot about yourselves. What do you feel like you learned?
That we'll stick together during tough times. We learned, obviously, that we need to get better. We learned the areas where I think we need to continue to get better. And that's how you survive in this league, is you have to look in the mirror and be honest with yourselves and see areas where you can improve. We've got room to grow, and we'll continue to get after it. We'll work, we'll teach, and we'll improve.
And going off of what Spencer was talking about at the interaction at the end of the first half, is there any point where you feel like that's a deterrent to what you guys are trying to do?
No, again, because I don't think it was, that big of a deal. When we went in the locker room at halftime, it was over. We discussed it and we moved on. But, if you never have conflict, you never have resolution. So it's okay to have a little bit of conflict as long as it leads to resolution and we resolve.